Yeah, in particular, I suppose it's a sweet day really. Been a frustrating summer so far, having missed quite a bit of cricket. I was over the moon to get the call to be back in the squad, to be honest. So I could never have really dreamt of scoring 100 on my comeback test. But yeah, it does make it a little bit sweeter because obviously a frustrating time. 5-6 weeks out for injury. You're watching the boys all summer. You want to be out there. So yeah, really good day.
How difficult was it last week not being involved in the test match program?
Yeah, of course. I mean, whenever there's a test match on at Edgbaston, you wish to be a part of it. It probably just came a little bit too soon for me. Having spoken to the selectors and I tried my best to be ready for that test match, but wasn't quite there really. It was a wise decision for me to go out and get some more cricket, albeit white ball stuff for Warwickshire, but I think it was worthwhile.
I'm thinking obviously back with you coming back with Ben not being about, were you confident you were ready with the early best?
Yeah, I think so. It would have been nice to probably had a little bit more red ball cricket under my belt, but I definitely felt like my body was ready, and from a mental side of things, I was ready to play if called upon. Obviously coming in place of Ben Stokes is quite big shoes to fill, but you try not to think about that. I try not to play like him. I try to play like myself and try and do my job for the team, and thankfully I've done that so far.
Brown seemed to have been scored at number 8, but would you like to bat higher for your
6, so that's probably a little bit too high, a little bit of a nosebleed at 6, but no, I honestly don't really mind where I bat. I suppose batting at 7, you get a little bit more of an opportunity to bat with the genuine batsman, but at the same time, batting lower down the order, there's almost less pressure on you to score runs, so I suppose I don't really mind where I bat. I just try and do my job for the team. I've always tried to have that mentality as a batsman wherever I bat, whatever number it is, and try and score as many runs as I can. If I'm batting 9, for instance, I don't try and dash at 20 and then have a swing. I always try and play properly and have that mentality as a batsman.
Speaking of the nursery, and you've got your own little nursery at home, first as a father, how's that been different? Especially
Has been a little bit different, a little bit of a shock to the system, but obviously fantastic as well. It's certainly puts things in perspective. You have a bad day at cricket and you go home. It's nice to have that breakaway. The lads did ask me actually where was the baby celebration, but that for some reason wasn't on my mind. I didn't really have any ideas of how I was going to celebrate and didn't really know how to celebrate. So obviously just delighted.
Ali, Chris, you dreamt about scoring a test over the Lords. What was that feeling like when you scrambled that 3 over?
Yeah, I mean it's still a bit of a blur, I suppose, and it seems to go so fast that 30 seconds of raising your bat feels literally like a blink of the eye. But an incredible feeling. I was probably getting a little bit nervous through those 90, well, probably a little bit earlier than that, to be honest. Went from 60 to 80 pretty quickly, and then all of a sudden you start thinking of 3 figures. And you start wafting at things outside off stump, which I hadn't been doing. Johnny came down and had the word, which settled me. That feeling of raising your bat to a standing ovation at Lords, as you said, it's a bit of a boyhood dream, and it's just, I suppose, I'm lost for words a little bit, but it was a special time and a special day for me.
You asked about the wicket of Virat yesterday. Come back in. I guess you probably see the primary job being with the ball to take out the kingpin in Australia, in India's lineup is pretty good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we all know how good Virat is, and he's a world-class player and number 1, I believe, in the Test rankings. So, and he's obviously like you say, kingpin in India's lineup. So it's important that we try and get him out as early as possible in every Test match going forward. But particularly yesterday with the ball moving around, I felt like that was a really good opportunity to try and get him out early. And fortunately we managed to do that. But yeah, it's a great wicket. I think the most important thing was that we got him early, because obviously once he gets in, he's very difficult to get out. So obviously delighted with that wicket.
Andrew, give up.
Yeah, congratulations on 100.
Thanks.
Till your ownership with Johnny, there were phases when the Indian bowlers were also dominating. So how would you, given end of the day, how would you some of the days, what was the wicket like then? What are the conditions actually being out there in the middle?
I mean, when I obviously went to the crease, I think we were about 20 ahead. Johnny had been playing nicely. I think the important thing was to try and get through certain spells. There was some really good spells out there from the Indian bowlers. Mohammad Shami kept running in, bowled some really good stuff, and we just kind of saw each spell as kind of a thing to tick off. Really, if we could get through some certain spells, then we were obviously going to make it difficult for the Indian bowlers to keep coming back and bowling more spells. There wasn't a huge amount of turn there, so when the spinners were on, we felt that I suppose we'd done our job and saw off certain seamers and certain attack from the seamers, because we've seen the ball move around a little bit all game. But I think when the ball got a little bit older and a bit softer, it looked a little bit more difficult to get guys out, particularly if they were set. So and the sun was out, I suppose, a little bit for a little bit of the day, which made the wicket probably behave a little bit less. But as we saw tonight, once the new ball was taken and that harder ball, it's still moving around off that surface. So I suppose that's good signs for us being so far ahead.
John, Chris, I was just going to ask about the British Ashes of clay yesterday, where drop catch, consecutive balls twice, the same field on every occasion. I mean, what was going to be?
I don't know, really. Obviously, when a ball goes down, you know how difficult it is. Slip catching is not an easy skill. And the guys are working extremely hard to try and make sure we take every chance, but it's part of the game. Chances are going to go down. So as a bowler, you kind of although you're frustrated, you don't go too hard at your fellow fielders. But obviously you're frustrated when the catch goes down, but you've still got a job to do next ball. Often a catch goes down, the next ball goes to the fence. So you want to make sure that you try and put the ball in the next area and in the right area, and thankfully I managed to do that. A bit of a freakish way to do it, but obviously delighted. Layla Louise, 2nd of July. You're putting me on the spot there.
Chris, when you came to crease, I don't think anyone on either side had gone past 30. So, once you'd gone past that, presumably, was there ever any call of declaration for that?
To be honest, I didn't really think of a score at any point, really. I was thinking of just matter of building a partnership, trying to get past, as any batsman does when you first go out to the crease, getting past your first, I suppose, 20 balls, 25 balls. Once you get past that, obviously things naturally get a bit easier. So that was all I was trying to do, really. I wasn't looking too much at the scoreboard in terms of how much lead we need. Me and Johnny did tick it off in fives, but that was the only time we really looked at the score. We were just trying to bat against the bowlers that were bowling to us, and as I said, ticking off spells as well as we saw it. But never really, I suppose we didn't think at the time that we'd have the lead that we had now. But as I said, when me and Johnny got in, and we both probably, when Johnny got to 50 and I got to 30, felt a little bit more in. And as I said, the ball got a little bit softer and less hard. It made it a little bit easier. So at that point, that's all we were looking at, really.
Sorry, just about the declarations, obviously the weather for the rest of the match doesn't sound too great. Was there any discussion about that?
There hasn't been. I've only been in the dressing room at tea time, and then right at the end, then I haven't heard anything. I'm sure those discussions are being held. I mean, captain and coach will be definitely thinking of that. How much you can trust the forecast, I don't know, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But if there is a bit of rain around tomorrow, that might play into our hands with it being a bit overcast, a little bit of moisture around. Hopefully it moves around like it did on day one. I'm sure it won't quite move around as much as it did, but with a significant lead, hopefully we can, whenever it is we come to bowl, we can put the Indian batsman under pressure with obviously some scoreboard pressure there as well.
Through into this year, I just wanted to take you out to start the year. Is it rhythm and held that rhythm ever since in Australia? Do you feel a bit like that?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I didn't bat as well as I've liked in Australia. There's no doubt about that. I didn't score as many as I've liked there. But yeah, certainly found some sort of form and rhythm with the bat, as you say, during that India one-day series. That's definitely probably the best one-day series I've had with the bat. And then I suppose I've carried that through. Obviously having a chunk of cricket, missed a chunk of cricket throughout the summer. I suppose you have to refresh and come back into the game, and form kind of goes out the window because you've had that bit of a break. But you know, I felt in good rhythm in the nets, and felt like I've been hitting the ball okay. So yeah, I mean, I didn't think I'd go out, I didn't really have going out there and getting 100 on my radar today, to be honest with you. But at the same time, once you get in, obviously I try and have that mindset of playing like a batsman, and I managed to do that. Yeah, I think just the change of format and freeing you up a little bit. I think I had a couple of innings in Australia where I had to go in, and I suppose you don't really worry too much about your defence and getting out of the way of the ball. You kind of just see ball, hit ball, and that certainly helped with that. In Australia, I suppose I had a couple of good innings and kind of picked up some form from there.
Thank you.
Thanks.